I think it's one big family, speaking with some different accents, but with some very bright red threads connecting us. And I'm going to take some time to present, stimulate some connections, hopefully maybe deepen some connections, but to get started. So having said I'm in industrial psychology by training, and my heart is still in it in ways I can't believe a 20-year-old chose a field that was so exciting. And actually, I don't regret the choice of occupation, even though I know that's one issue occupational psychologists deal with, is the fact that people often say, how did I get here and why? One of the things that I think is so important is that our community does something which is different from other areas of psychology and other areas of intellectual discipline, and that is that we're practitioners and scholars and educators together. So how many of you in this room self-identify as, I'm a practitioner? I'm a practitioner. Oh, wait, cool. This is why I came. Thank you. And how many say, and self-identify, and this can be an also, I'm an educator. Okay, and also, I'm a scholar. And several of you raised your hand several times. Evidence just doesn't exist on the ground, in the book, on the sheet. It exists in relation to a question or a hypothesis or a claim. So the key idea then is, what is the claim? What is the belief? What is the idea that I am tempted to act on or rely upon? What is the evidence in support of it? So that's a real important idea. And key idea for, evidence can be lots of different forms. Sometimes it's scientific evidence. But the fact of the matter is, we don't have tons of scientific evidence for all the possible questions a practitioner could ask. I don't know about you, but I get these calls from journalists wanting to know what the scientific research on what kind of gifts managers should give to their secretaries. I get that question every Christmas. I'm trying to figure out, where's that literature that I'm just not able to find? So clearly there's a lot more questions than there are bodies of study. And we have a process that we've developed that basically comes, again, out of medicine. I always say, anybody to you, he who steals from me steals twice, except I am an academic and I do cite. These are ideas that came from medicine, have been honed in other areas in which people have worked hard to be able to provide vetted bodies of information to assess their claims or their practice hypotheses. We will talk about, in evidence-based practice, 6 skills. The skill of asking, what's the question we're here to solve? What's the problem we want to address? Why do we think we need a change? Acquire, getting multiple sources of evidence on our practice question. Appraising the quality, how biased, how representative, how strong, how consistent is the evidence we have. Aggregate, pull the different sources together, make it, besides a simple hypothesis of people aren't learning, they're learning something. The question is its value and its mechanism as a source of actually good decisions. Well, part of the issue that we're dealing with is this fundamental problem of bounded rationality. Bounded rationality meaning the fact that we're all cognitively limited, can only think about so much at one time, one of the issues is that our brains work in some very particular ways, is that we have a lot of automatic processes that aren't really subject to critical thinking, a system 1, fast and intuitive, heuristical approach, and the more lazy, deliberate, trying to be rational approach. But we see the world through the lens of our brain, right? And we all know this one, so I'm not going to do, well, point made. We know what we see isn't what is. We've all been trained that way. And we know we have to have these kind of fast and frugal ways of reacting. We have a cow brain because, we live in an environment where a cow brain is a very useful thing. Some automatic responses are really good, But this is what made evidence-based medicine possible, was the initial development of teams to do reviews on important and taken for granted issues in medicine that became the basis of what is the Cochrane library of systematic reviews. And my goal is we should have that for ourselves one day. So on that note, I'm going to stop, and I'm going to say, in the last couple of years, I've done one thing I'm kind of proud of, and that is I wrote a book with Eric called Evidence-Based Management. That book is not the point. The point is I cut the binder off the book and put a spiral on it. And then I realized it went from being a book to a tool. I think we need to be tool makers to translate our ideas into something we and others can act on. So if cutting off the binder of a book and making it into something portable helps, that's a good thing. You have your own ways of making occupational tools. Put me on your distribution list. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.